deficit disorder, and they ironized it, but they I think always put very important issues in their episodes. And when I started researching on the internet, it turned out that now, especially in the United States, it's very popular to among children, among students, especially in the university, to discover that they have ADD, attention deficit disorder, and it refrains them from studying, and they find it hard to concentrate. They find it hard to write papers. They always procrastinate, which I learned this word there, and it means they always put off things they have to do for later. And when I tried to diagnose myself, the criteria they listed there, it turned out that I also have ADD, and I think if everyone tries to diagnose themselves, there is very, very high probability that you all have ADD, because the criteria is very, very, very vague, and it says if you find it hard to concentrate for more than 10 minutes, if you find it hard to finish a task and start a new task before finishing this one or something like that, if you find it hard to organize yourself and to keep with your organization things, and then the other side, which is also showed in this episode of South Park, is that the economical side, this huge market of, because there is the medicalization, there is this and not only one type of medicine, but mainly two types, and they are all based on amphetamines, which make your brain work harder and more efficiently. And then it's very, very strange, because in the universities, if you are diagnosed as an ADD sufferer, you receive longer periods for your tasks, for your papers to hand in. You receive more time for the tests. And you get officially, legally, amphetamines to study harder, to do better your work.
Vidya, do you think is there a term? Is there an original, in your language? Is there a term for this?
Yes,
How was it called before? Did this exist before, or is it a new syndrome?
It's a new syndrome, and in Bulgarian it's translated directly from English. And it's very strange, because in forums on the internet there are many mothers who find their 3-year-old children potentially ill, like my child doesn't really care when I read him a story, and he cannot tell it back or something like that, and they're very scared, and it's like a psychosis around that.
Well, actually, I was in Madrid in the summer school, and my roommate was American, and she was diagnosed with ADD, and because we had a very tough schedule, and she was all the time saying that, oh my God, I can't do it, I have ADD, please, I really need to rest right now, I need to have my medicines. But she was perfectly healthy, actually. Mm-hmm. And she made a lot of excuses with this. And when, for example, she fell in love with a boy, and she said, but I have ADD, he will never look at me like a girl, or something like that. I said, okay, you look really good, you're taking good, you know 2 or 3 languages. What's the problem about procrastinate some stuff and want to sleep more than the others? It's an excuse every time.
And there on the internet there are very helplines and very many online organizations that tell you you are no longer stupid or lazy. You just have ADD, don't worry. Just take your pills and it'll be alright. But the thing that when you are a university student, you can decide for yourself. Many decide that they would rather say that they have ADD to get better marks through medications or get easily excused. But when children, very little children, are medicalized like that by their mothers and teachers, and very strange, and I'm interested where I find it very important where is the limit between the border and the line between improving your situation and healing and treating medically a problem. And what is the problem?
And what is the problem?
Yes.
What is the problem? And how a person has acting maybe slower or whatever. Yeah, thank you very much. That the ADD offers is an offer for a self-classification with according then what you do, and so you a person or a type of a person comes into being. That is the ADD patient or person that didn't, in this sense, didn't exist before. It's the problematization and then the chemicals and then the internalization or interiorization of the classification, and all this makes.
Yeah, and trying to be yourself a doctor, someone who diagnoses yourself. Yeah, because you say I know myself
Yes.
the best.
Yes, of course.
I know better. I know what's best for me.
Yeah.
But there is another side of this problem, the side of the society. Because one problem is when you say that the whole society wants to be diagnosed in order to have some privileges. But for example, if we talk about serious, there is America's Next Top Model, when in one of the cycles there was a girl who was with ADD, and she was always possessing herself like, yeah, I'm another type of a person. You should treat me like another type of a person because I cannot be the same as others. But the other girls who were in this competition, they were always complaining that she's treated differently. And if we're talking about someone possessed high in this society, like the America's Next Top Model, there shouldn't be this difference between the competitors, and everyone should be equal. So here comes the problem of different attitude towards from the other society members to these people with ADD. So it comes into conflict then.
Yeah, but it's a very important issue, and I cannot answer. I cannot know. I'm here for, as Maria said, to widen my perspective and have more, to not be categorical on this, but try to understand different positions and different points of view. And if, on the other hand, if there are only, who can say which are the